What the hell? My camera's not working. My camera's not working. Hold on. Let me see what I got going on with my camera. Let me see what I got going on with my camera real quick. I don't know why my camera's not live. Everything there looks good. Okay, save the changes. Oh my gosh, that camera's not working. Let me see if I can look up a second camera. Maybe I got another one right here. The microphone's working, so I don't know why the camera isn't showing. Come on, plug in, fool. Ah, yeah, you're saying you're there, but I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. All right. That's what I want. Yeah. Okay, settings. Why is it not showing? I don't want to mirror my camera. Standard definition, yes. Why is my camera not showing? I'll be right there, people. I promise. I got two different cameras connected to my computer. Only one of them is showing up. I don't know why. Try this again. Ah, frustrating, frustrating, frustrating. I like setting them up early. Hold on. I'm still not there. Where the heck is my camera at? There we go. Holy crap, that was a pain in the neck. Hey, Rebecca, Touched by Yarn. How you doing tonight? All right, I'm going to go through a couple updates. I gave the wrong name for that other campsite. I don't even know what camera I'm looking at. Okay, it's not that one. It's this one. I got to turn it a little bit. Oh, I don't want to get that light in there. All right, so I was talking about different places to be able to go camping, and the one that you could go for free, or you pay for it annually, and then you just buy stuff at their places or whatever. I gave the wrong name. That place is called Harvest Hosts, and I've done some research on it since we got back from camping this time, and I found a really cool place. I'm going to probably take a drive out there. It's not that far from my house. Maybe tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon we'll take a ride out and just check the place out. It's actually a lilac farm. And when you camp there, they want you to buy their products out of their store, which most of it's made off products they got grow on their lilac farm or whatever. So I thought that was kind of cool. Hi, Charlene. How you doing? So yeah, it's called Harvest Hosts. And what it is it's like right here at our local next door town, Newark, Newark, not Newark. I'm sorry. Anyway, our next town over, where we go to Walmart as well as Cortland, they have a brewery there, and you can get it for one night only. They don't offer power or anything like that, but it's free, and they require you to kind of go into the brewery and test out a couple different beer or whatever. I'm not the kind of guy that's into the drinking beer that's made in somebody's little brewery, because none of them really taste like mine. But you can go in there, and then they have music on the weekends, and I'm like, yeah, but you're only open on the weekends. I don't want to be in a place where I'm trying to get some sleep and I got to listen to a band play till like midnight or whatever. So we probably won't do that one. But then I got looking farther, and I found another one that's not too far from us. That's the Lilac Farm. And that one actually has power. They have 30 amp RV power, and they have 50 amp RV power, and they have just regular 120 amps. So you don't need to take a generator with you, which is great for me because I don't have a way to load my generator at the present time. And I'm like, okay, it's $5 a night for the electric. You can stay 2 nights, but the second night will cost you $30. The first night you're required to go into the store and, you know, browse and maybe buy something or whatnot. And I just want to go there and check it out. So I think tomorrow afternoon or whatever, we'll probably take a drive out there and just look to see what the place is all about, you know, and talk to the owners, because these places, the owners are the ones that rent you the site. And I think it would be really cool to go meet with the owners and just talk to them about, you know, they have 4 sites available. What is your most busy time for these sites? Can I look at the sites? You know, I mean, maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll go there and spend the whole weekend or whatnot, you know. The store is open all year round, so that part doesn't matter. And you can go there Monday through Sunday, so that part doesn't matter either. And they actually let you go in there really early. I think checkout time for the campground is like 11 o'clock. So anytime after 12 o'clock, you can go there, drop your camper off, get it leveled up and get it set up, and then leave again, which I have to do to go back to Cortland and pick Leah up and then take her back and do it. But I want to go there and just look at the place and, you know, talk to Leah about it. But I also found out from one of my local bartenders Friday, before I picked Leah up, I already had the camper set at our new site. But before I picked Leah up, I went over to our local bar, which is right across the road from where she works, and I was talking to one of the owners over there, and he was telling me about another place where a guy has, I think it's 4 campsites set up. One of them has a really big canopy by it, and that's the only one that has the 30 volt or 30 amp RV plug for it. The rest of them are all just 110, so you can run TVs or whatever, but you can't run the AC unit, which is fine. It's starting to cool off anyway. We're getting closer to the end of the year, and it's in a shaded area, so that should really help too. But I can camp there for free. I told him, I says, I'm kind of interested in it. He said, well, did you see this one site? And I was like, yes. I didn't drive into it. I walked into it. And I don't think I would want to drive my RV down into it because I'm not too sure my vehicle would drive it back out, even though it is 4-wheel drive. And it's set up for towing campers and all that stuff. You have to go down a really steep bank to get down next to this riverside place where you're underneath the canopy of the trees above you. And then you have to run extension cords up to an outlet. I don't think that's what I want to do. I think I'd rather be up on top and just plug into the 120 volt, 15 amp outlet and just be able to watch TV or whatever we want to do. But that place has no picnic tables. It has no fire ring. Now, the last one didn't have a picnic table either, which kind of disappointed me because I have a 6-foot foldable picnic table that fit in the back of my truck perfectly. Unfortunately, the Ford Explorer doesn't let me put the picnic table into it. But if I wanted to, I've got a bike rack on the back bumper of the camper that I could put the picnic table on and just strap it onto the spare tire or whatever, and it would ride fine. Do I want to take it down, set it up, and all that stuff? No, I don't even want to lift on it anymore. I grab a hold of it, I pull it out, I mow underneath it, I grab onto it, I pull it back, and then I mow the rest of my lawn. So I don't want to be picking on it anymore. And actually, the day that I bought it, I had another lady help me load it on the truck because I wasn't going to do it by myself. So I do have one, but I'm not planning on taking it with me anywhere. It's here in my yard for our use and our use only pretty much. And, you know, if there was an easier way to do things as you get old, that would be great. Like my truck, I could have put a crane on the back and I could have picked it up and put it into the back of the truck. I could have done the same with my generator. Well, I don't have a truck anymore, and the Ford Explorer does not have the ability to hook a crane up to it to put stuff into it. So it is what it is, you know. I do think that I could take our generator out, and Lee and I, the two of us together, could probably take our generator and put it on the bike rack on the back of the camper because it holds me. I sat on it and I bounced and it doesn't do any damage. And it's got two pieces, you know, one for each tire. So this thing probably holds 250 pounds all day long with both sides. So our generator, I don't think it weighs that much. I was actually going to go out tonight and just look at the brand name. I'm pretty sure it's a Coleman, but it's like a 4,000 watt generator. And it does have the 30 amp RV on it, so we can plug it in. And I have it set up. It's a multi-fuel, and I've never run gas through it, so it's always been used just on propane, which burns cleaner. You don't have to worry about it gumming up the carburetor over the winter and all that stuff. So we have that, and I may hook that up and use that. I'm not real sure yet. But that other campsite was kind of different, and the one that I can get for free, and I can go whenever I want. It's not far from where Leah works, and I'm thinking, boy, I could go there during the week, park the camper, you know, like early. We could just go to the camper, get up in the morning, and take her to work. It's only like a 3-mile drive, if that, to take her to work. And that falls into the play of what I was saying before. People that have land that's near a body of water that can make it available, make it available. People will rent those sites. Now, the guy that owns this one, he's got 4 sites set up. And as I was talking to the owner of the bar this Friday, I was talking to him about it. I says, I like the place, but the problem is that he's only got one 30 amp RV site. And he says, yeah, that's the one my dad and I camp at. And I was like, okay, well, that's up by the canopy, though. You should have 30 amp, all of them, because, you know, when you go to hook up electricity, you generally hook up a 200 amp service. Some people only do a 100 amp service, but I wouldn't. My garage would be a 100 amp service, but the house is 200 amp. But you put up a 200 amp service and you just put 30 amp outlets at every one of them sites, and then maybe put a little gravel where the roadway actually is so people can see it, because right now it's just mowed grass. And he could be renting those sites out $50 a weekend. We put 4 sites, that's $200 a weekend he could be making on that campground. And he could decide who he wants there and who he doesn't want there. And that's one of his big issues now, is I don't want just everybody coming here and camping. And I can't blame him for that. You know, if it was me and my property, I'd want to know exactly who was there, when they were there, and how long they were planning on staying, the whole 9 yards, and then charge them for it, because they're using your electricity. Granted, the electricity isn't that expensive, but they are using it, so that's part of your site cost. But he could easily get $25 a night for these sites. And then he could hook up with Hip Camp or whatever, so he gets the insurance policy from them, and they're picky and choosy. You don't even get the address of where you're going until you reserve the site for the weekend or whatever. So I think he could do something like that. So I told Matt, my buddy that works at the bar, his dad owns it. I says, I would like to work with this guy, because I see potential with this place. But in the respect of seeing potential, that same potential means there's a liability potential too. That's where Hip Camp comes in. The liability falls on Hip Camp rather than on the landowner, and I think that's an important thing. I'm a little late tonight because I just got done watching the last one I did, is the pop-up live, and boy, I was so animated. I was in the camera, out of the camera, and the camera kept moving, and I was like, are you serious? So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm not going to be on here long tonight, and I just wanted to hop in and say that, yes, it's called Harvest Hosts. It's $180 a year, and you can camp for free the first night. Most places will let you stay a second night for a fee, and the Lilac farm that we're going to be going to probably tomorrow to check out. If not tomorrow, we'll just pick another night of the week and just drive out and look at it. It's not far from our house. That one, you can actually rent the second night for $30, but you get full electric at $5 a night, and I think that's cool. I think that's the most respectable I've found so far, local to me. But they've got places like St. Lawrence River, Lake Ontario, Arkansas, Oklahoma. I mean, they're just all over. Oh, I said they started out at 5,000 and they were up to 9,000. I just got an email from them yesterday. They're now up to 9,700. Hi, Susan. How you doing? They're now up to 9,700 campgrounds in all of the United States right now that you can stay at, or camp places you can stay at. They're not campgrounds by any means, but almost all of them are boondockers. So that means you take your power, you take your own water, what you take in, you take out, and you come up with your own bathroom system. But that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. We did it all last weekend and we enjoyed it, so that's not a problem. But yeah, I mean, that was a really nice weekend. We did have one day, I think it was Saturday morning, where there was somebody with really loud music that pulled right into the end of the site where we pull in at, and they stopped and they just looked at us like, "Why are these people here?" And I'm looking at them going, "Yeah, why are you here?" You know what I'm saying? I don't think the person that owns this lot even lives anywhere near the lot. I think they bought the lot. Like I say, it does have a septic tank, and it's got the power and it's got the electric. Not that I don't trust the water because, like I say, it's next to a pond. My brother's camp had a 13-acre property with an 11-acre pond on it, and a friend of his bought the property across the road from him, and she had a well drilled. And we made Kool-Aid in her water, and it turned out tasting like Kool-Aid made from pond water. It made me sick, and I'll never drink it again. So I didn't trust the water there. But like I say, if you're washing dishes or something like that, that water's fine. You know, it's just not something I'm going to drink personally. But yeah, so we're going to go look at this lilac farm, and like I said, maybe tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then maybe Monday or something. It's not that far from home, and they do offer the second night for $30. They offer electricity for both nights for $5 a night, and they are working on getting water, which is really cool. And they're actually working on getting a dump station set up, which would be even cooler. But also, in the same respect, they're also looking at adding on more campsites. Right now, they have 4. So that would be really awesome. Turn that thing into a whole little campground. Now, one thing they have is because it's a lilac farm, naturally, and they do let people go pick their own lilac. That if you have a pet, your pet has to be on a leash. It can never be allowed to go into the lilac fields. It can never be allowed to go over by the store. All that. The store, I guess, is a 5-minute drive from where the camping is, I guess, from what everybody else was saying in the reviews. But I'm like, yeah, I want to check this place out. It's in Sherburne. Sherburne's only a probably 25-minute drive away from me right now. So I definitely want to go check that one out. It's not that I'm afraid of going a long ways away from home. It's just being a new vehicle and pulling the camper. I want to get used to the camper behind the vehicle before we just take off and do like a road trip with it. I I don't mind the idea of going farther out, maybe even an hour away or whatever. But right now, I want to kind of keep it close to home, just in case something does happen. And like I say, I just bought this vehicle, and I'm not real sure of is there something I need to pay attention to on it. So we'll figure it out, and we'll go from there. Next year will be a different story by all means, and I am very very certain that we will never pay another campground for a seasonal site. I am really certain of that. I told Leah, I says, I don't want to camp every weekend. And we didn't camp every weekend, but we paid to camp every weekend. Basically, we paid to have the camper on the site without even using it for most of the time. And they've always been, if you rent the site for seasonal, you have to mow your own lawn. Well, I have a way to haul my lawnmower, but it's a zero-turn tractor, which would mean I'd have to take the camper over, drop it off, come back home, put a tarp in my enclosed trailer because I've got $750 worth of maple plywood in there to rebuild my kitchen island with, and put the tarp over that, and then drive the lawnmower in, drive it out, mow the lawn, drive it back in, bring it home, clean the trailer back out, make sure there's no grass stains on anything. And that's just not my thing. I'd rather camp for just a weekend somewhere, pay whatever the price is, use their dump station on the way out if need be, and life goes on. So that's where I'm at. All right. Well, anyway, I am going to work on putting a short video out of that campsite. I did do some video on my phone, and I took some pictures while we were there. And then I'm going to try to put it to music. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I'm going to try to put it to music and get that released sometime maybe this week coming up. I wanted to do it over this last week, but we brought the camper home, and I found I had some things I had to take care of on it, and I've been working on that all weekend long. And I'm not recording anything I'm doing on it because people just don't need to see it. But I mean, it's a new camper, right? I'm looking at it out there going, yeah, I'd have a window. Hey, Gypsy Trails, how you doing, brother? Good Lord, Randall, I haven't seen you in a while. The windows in it, you have a metal piece you have to pull out, and then you slide the window sideways. Where you pull that metal piece out, and the window's not sliding. And I'm thinking it's because of all the green algae from the pine trees and stuff that was there, got down into the grooves of the window. I set my pressure washer up today so I could get in there and really scrub it and pressure wash it. And I turned my pressure washer on and I was like, oh, that built pressure really fast. I walked over and I squeezed the trigger on the wand. It sprayed for about maybe not even a half a second, and then it goes, oh, that just died. I went and I checked the plug because it does have a GFI plug on it, and that wasn't tripped. I checked the breaker in our seed house where it's plugged in at. That didn't trip, and I'm just like, okay, well, that pressure washer's garbage. So I had to do it and just use our regular garden hose, which only reaches to the front of where the edge of the camper is, minus 10 foot, and just use that to kind of wash it off after I got done scrubbing on it. So I haven't tried the window. The last thing I want to do is open it, pull that piece of metal back and tap on it with something and end up breaking the window, because I don't know what the cost of that window is, but I know it ain't going to be cheap. And I know that the place we bought it from will probably be the slowest place to take it to for that repair if it needed to be done. So I'm just like not in a hurry. If I find a different window that I can open up, that'll be fine. As long as we get some breeze in there or whatnot, if need be. But this was for the big window, and I'm like, yeah, if I break half of that big window, they're probably going to have to replace the whole window, and it is not going to be cheap. $20,000 camper, and it's only 16 feet long. I imagine that window is probably about 2,000 of it. So yeah, that ain't going to happen. But anyway, that's where my time has been spent. Today was the day that I found out my pressure washer no longer wants to be a part of my life, which kind of sucks. But I didn't pay a lot for it. It's called SunGo or something like that, and I think I got it from Harbor Freight for like $49. So it can be thrown away, and if I feel I need to go buy another one, I'll just go buy another one. They've got them all day long. I'm not worried about it. All right, well, guys, I'm not going to be on long. It's been, I'm going to say, not even half an hour because I came in late because I couldn't get my camera to work. What else do I got going on? Oh, I did find something. This is pretty cool. When it came time to wash all that green stuff off the camper, I decided I wanted a mold and mildew release product. And I went to Walmart and I found one that was like $5 for the spray bottle. And as a test to see if it would work on that green stuff, I've got a John Deere 0-turn lawnmower that sits in my front yard during the summer and that sits out behind my garage in the winter, totally uncovered all year round. And the seat was turning black on it. So I started out by just spraying down that seat. And this was, of course, long before I found out the pressure washer wasn't going to work. I was just using the garden hose at this point. But I sprayed down that lawnmower seat, and I got my little hand brush, the ones that have the stiff bristles on them, and they got a good handle to hang on to. And I took it out, and I cleaned all of the black stuff off of that seat. It's not the same color yellow as it was when it was brand new, or some light yellow and dark yellow or whatever, based on how dirty it was and where the sun shined on it. But it cleaned it up. And I was like, boy, if it cleans up that tractor seat, it's got to clean up this camper. What I bought was a microfiber car wash one that's It's the width of a 5-gallon bucket, and then the height of it's about probably 6 inches on a very long extendable pole. And I had uh, Fantastico in the bucket of hot water, and I started scrubbing the side of the camper. Well, I don't know if you know what campers look like, but they're not flat sided. They go like this, you know. There's grooves and all that stuff in there. It's like almost like a metal roof, except there's plastic. And that really wasn't the beneficial tool to use for the job. I did get it to where I could go in on the sides of it and really scrub it along, but it really didn't work out that well. Yeah, by all means, Rebecca, please do. We still got lots of them. Actually, we're going to be starting packaging for 2027 here probably tomorrow or the next day. But it doesn't matter. The seeds we have are all packaged for 2026 right now, and they're good. Most of them are good for up to 5 years, as long as they're kept in the conditions we keep them in, which is it's not hot, it's not bright sunlight, they're not in high humidity. We're under a total temperature controlled building. Cost me a lot. So they're still viable. Most of them, like I say, are good for 5 years. So if you order and we're already packaging for 2027, you'll probably still get 2026 because Leah's been out there packaging like a maniac for the last week. And I told her, I don't care, but just use up the labels you got and don't print it anymore because new labels are going to start coming up with the new package date. So that'll be happening in the next couple of days. But the seeds actually won't be leaving the seed house for probably the next month and a half, maybe, depending on how business goes. Right now we're kind of in a toss up. We get like really, really busy days, and then we have days like today where there's been absolutely no orders at all. So it depends on the customers. Fall planting season starts here like really soon, if not already, and we're not getting the volume order that we used to get before, but we're still maintaining, and that's all that matters. Yeah, I was gonna bring this up too. This is something different. In October, around the end of October, I believe, I am going to be going back under the knife for my ankle one last time, hopefully one last time. And this time around, I'm going to be down for, I think he said it's going to be 6 weeks in a cast and then up to 4 weeks in the therapeutic boot. 6 weeks in the cast, I cannot put my foot on the floor, period, ever. Ever. I'm going to be on crutches, which means I'm going to be remaining on my first floor. My setup right here is on the second floor. I probably could take it downstairs and set it up downstairs on the first floor, but I'm not going to because that's my healing and recovery period. When I go into therapeutic boot, I can probably go up downstairs better and then maybe come back into it. But at the end of October, there's going to be a whole 6 week period where nobody will see me anywhere. Well, other than Randall, if you make it up my way, brother. You make it up my way, I'll make an exception to the rule and I'll set you up. I'll give you a place to park the camper or whatever if you want to. It's not like I don't have the room here. And then you don't even need to use your own toilet or shower or whatever. You can come in and use mine. I wouldn't care. But yeah, so it's just going to be time down to heal, get myself back in the right way. Because they're going to go in and they're going to fuse the ankle, basically. I've been going in for these, corticosteroid shots. And you can only do it once every 90 days. But after a period of time, it destroys the cartilage between the bones so bad that it gets to the point where it's just can't be done anymore. And when I went in for my last shot, which was just not too long ago. I'm on the wrong months in my calendar now. But when I went in for my last shot, the doctor told me, he says, it's getting pretty tight in here. And I says, well, that was part of the reason coming to visit today. This will probably be the last shot. Now we need to work on scheduling to be able to put in for doing the fusion of the ankle. And he's like, all right, yeah. He says, so around the end of October then. And I was like, yeah, around the end of October. He says, all right, we'll start getting the plan set. He says, we'll start getting things approved for it. And I'm like, all right. Well, one of the things approved for it was last Wednesday. I was supposed to go 2:30 in the afternoon to Ithaca Hospital, which is an hour drive from me, for a CT scan. Actually, it's a little over an hour. Just one way, by the way. For a CT scan. And then they called me on Monday and said, yeah, it didn't pass. We'll set it up for this Wednesday. So now, Wednesday at 2:30 in the afternoon, I'm set up to go over there and get it done again. And I'm pretty sure by Monday morning, they'll probably call me up and say, yeah, this one ain't going to work either, and follow it up for the next Wednesday. And we'll probably play this game for 2 months. You know, insurance companies don't like working with me. And especially right now, because they know once this goes through, and I go in for the surgery, that there has to be a workman's comp settlement payment made shortly thereafter. They can't fight it any longer. They've been fighting the corticosteroid shots now for a long time. And they've been fighting it, but they always have to pay it because they have to pay all medical. And once that bone is fused, that stops the medical. But they're fighting that because then they know they have to come up with a payout, and they're going to fight that all the way tooth and nail. My lawyers are in on it, so I don't know how that's going to play out. But yeah, so that's going to be coming up. And I had to remind him, I says, you remember when I got my foot, I shattered my heel and they replaced my whole heel with titanium? And he's like, yeah. I said, do you remember how sick I got and everything? And he's like, yeah. I says, well, that's because I'm allergic to titanium. So you're going to have to order surgical stainless steel screws to put it together with this time. And he's like, oh, crap. Yeah, I am going to have to do that. All right, I'll put that in my notes just as soon as I get back to my desk. And I was like, yeah, do that. And then I looked at him again and I was like, but there's another situation with that. And he says, what's that? And I was like, well, I was told if you use the surgical stainless steel, they're only allowed to be in for about a year. Then you got to open me back up one last time and remove the screws. In other words, they corrode and it causes more problems. And he's like, all right, yeah, I'll make note of that too. And I was like, okay, good. I don't know when the insurance company will do their final payout. It'll probably be long after, like a year later, when they have to take the screws out or whatever. I've been fighting this thing since 2021, so if I fight it for another year plus a couple months, that's fine. I don't care. It'd be nice if they paid me out, but I was also told, do not file for Social Security until this goes through, because other words, any payment you receive will screw up with your Social Security. And I'm like, but I wanted to retire October 10th of this year. They're going, yeah, don't do that right now. So I don't know. I'll keep playing it out. I'll do what I got to do. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. All right, well, everybody, I've been on for a full hour now, which makes me feel better. I felt really bad about coming on a little bit late and then not getting my camera to work. But I'm going to cut out. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their week. And if you don't see me next weekend, it's because I decided to go camping again somewhere. I don't know where. But we'll catch you guys later. Everybody have a good weekend. Or week, rather. Bye.